name is Ruben Brigolas. I'm an international lawyer based in Portugal. I'm a partner at PLMJ, a leading firm in Portugal with a strong presence in Angola and Mozambique through its legal network. I specialize in corporate M&A and natural resources with a particular focus on the mining and energy sectors. My work involves advising international clients on structured investments, joint ventures, and large-scale projects, often in cross-border contexts. I also support clients in navigating regulatory frameworks, managing risks, and ensuring compliance with local laws in African countries. One project I am particularly proud of is Project Ndumba in Angola. It's a very recent one, a large-scale mining concession around 222,000 square kilometers. And I had the privilege of assisting the client from the very outset through the implementation, covering every stage of the process, including negotiation with the MIC, which was signed in the Ndaba 2025 Ndaba earlier this year. What made this project especially rewarding was the ability to create a framework that not only gave the client and potential investors confidence, but also was aligned with Angola's long-term objectives for resource development. It took a long time through negotiation, but all the parties in the end were quite satisfied with the goal. The project combined both greenfield and brown characteristics, which made it legally and technically complex, but also an excellent example of how to balance opportunity with risk mitigation. Being able to bridge international standards with local realities and to see the project advance from concept to execution, it's something that I consider one of the highlights of my career. And I'm confident this will be one of the major projects going forward for Angola. So Angola faces several challenges and a lot of opportunities for investors in the mining sector. Let's focus on the challenges because these are the main issues to address that will make the mining sector even more attractive in Angola. Infrastructure and logistics remains a key issue, given the size of the country and the distance between mining regions and in support corridors. That's why the Lobito corridor is so important for the development not only of the country, but also of the region. At the same time, illegal and artisanal mining creates a risk for project security and the formalization of the industry. Another hurdle is the difficulty in securing early stage or prospective funding, as local capital markets may not be deep enough to support this phase, and typically it's impossible to get non-recourse funding at this stage. In parallel, there is a need to continue developing local skills and technical expertise so that the sector can rely less on expert capacity and create stronger long-term value in Angola. This is a key point for any investment in the country. And in the MIC, i.e. the mining investment contract, really has to go in depth into these points in order to get a beneficial framework. Finally, sustainability and meaningful community engagement are no longer optional. Investors are expected to build projects that are environmentally responsible and socially inclusive. These are challenges, but they also create opportunities for those willing to adopt long-term responsible strategies to work hand in hand with the government and local communities. Because again, if the investor is able to demonstrate engagement in this, particularly in these last two items here, so developing local skills and engage communities in a sustainable manner, the MIC and the project as a whole will be able to position itself to get more benefits, including improved tax framework, which is, of course, one of the key issues when negotiating the project and the MIC, the mining investment contract. My vision for Angola's mining sector is that it becomes a central pillar of the country's economic diversification, moving beyond oil and gas to build a strong, transparent, and globally competitive mining industry. Of course, everyone knows that the weight that the oil and gas still plays in the GDP of Angola, but everyone also aware of the role that the mining sector, not only diamonds have been historically the main mineral of Angola, but with the with the knowledge that Angola is part of a hub which is able to develop critical minerals, and of course the key role that the Lobito corridor can play in putting these minerals into the markets, everyone is looking with more attention to Angola. So this means not only just extracting resources, but creating value chains locally while embedding sustainability, skill transfers, and genuine community development at the core of each project. Angola has the scale and the resource base to become a regional leader in critical minerals, not only diamonds, of course. So, and the reforms of recent years show that the country is serious about attracting responsible development. And I'm confident that the next years will show further investment and commitment of investors in the country. My message at IMC will be that the success of mining projects in Angola and across Africa in general depends as much on what happens above ground as on what lies beneath it. Investors are increasingly looking not only at resource potential, but at the clarity of fiscal terms, the predictability of the regulatory framework, and the credibility of the governance structures. A stable and transparent framework reduces risk and lowers the cost of capital, and ultimately accelerates the project development. At the same time, ESG is no longer an add-on. It is central to the license to operate and the fiscal terms as well, because it's a requirement for any investor to get any improved framework in his MIC, the mining investment contract. This means that the regulation and fiscal policy must be aligned with sustainability goals, encourage responsibility practice, and rewarding long-term commitment. My contribution to the discussion will emphasize that Angola has made important strides in reform, but that the real opportunity lies in ensuring that governance and ESG principles are constantly implemented on the ground so that the investors, governments, and communities can all share in the benefits of mining. AMC is very important for the region's extractive sector because it brings everyone to the same table: governments, investors, operators, and advisors. Mining projects only succeed when there is dialogue and alignment. And an event like this one is one of the few opportunities to have those conversations openly, to share experiences, and to build the trust that long-term investments depend on. For Angola and for Africa more broadly, it is also about visibility. Events like the AMC gives countries the chance to show the progress they are making in governance and transparency, and to present themselves to a global audience of investors at a time when critical minerals are at the center of the energy transition. It's not just another conference, it is a real platform to position the region within global value chains. So I'd like to talk about three additional aspects, which I think are very relevant or may be relevant for the value that Angola and the wider Africa region as a whole. So first will be technology and innovation, second will be regional integration, and third one will be local value addition and industrialization. So talking a little bit about technology and innovation, the future of Angola's mining sector will not only be defined by the resources in the ground, but by the technology we apply above it. Artificial intelligence, of course, always a hot topic, is already changing the industry. From analyzing geological data to improving the exploration to optimizing operations and even predicting maintenance needs in remote sites. Combined with the digitalization and licensing processes, greater access to geological information, and the integration of renewable energy into mining operations, technology can make projects more efficient, more sustainable, and more attractive to investors. Angola thus has the opportunity to position itself as a leader in embracing these innovations. Now, regional integration, and this is a hot one, maybe debatable one, probably one to raise a lot of discussion topics during the conference. Angolan's mining sector should also be seen in a regional context with its ports, railways, geographic position. Angola has the potential to become a logistic hub for other African countries, including South Africa. By strengthening cross-border cooperation and investing in infrastructure that connects producers to global markets, the country can multiply the impact of its mining sector and enhance competitiveness in the entire region. Now, we'll link it with probably the hottest one, local value addition and industrialization. So the next step for Angola's mining sector has to be moving beyond just extraction. If we can process and refine more of these critical minerals locally, we can keep more of the value in the country, create jobs, and build expertise that lasts beyond a single project. We've seen this happening in neighboring countries. It's also about resilience. When we build industrial clusters around mining, you diversify the economy and reduce exposure to the ups and downs of commodity prices. Angola has the scale and the resources to do this. The challenge is now to make it happen through the right partnerships and attract investment in infrastructure. So it really is one of the major change of policy that will need to happen in the future if Angola really wants to keep the value in the country.